This is season 3. I am so happy to be here at my favorite number, and I am ready to make this your favorite season yet. We've made some exciting changes based on the feedback from our audience. Thank you to everyone who shared their thoughts on how we can make things better. We're gonna push to make this one bigger and better than ever. More intentional conversations, better visuals, because yes, this podcast does have a visual version live on YouTube, and better audio for your ears to love on all streaming platforms. Subscribe to our Patreon to get access to all of the episodes 2 weeks early. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know what you love about the show and what you think we can do better. And please remember to share this with your friends and family. Enjoy the episode. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for making your way out here too. I apologize for giving you the wrong
You're good.
address. That was totally my fault. I felt so bad when I saw the email. I was like,
No, you're good.
because we just changed recently from like doing it at another location, and now we're doing it here. So this is gonna be the second episode that's in this location. So really excited to.
Feel special.
Thank you for sharing this space with me and being willing to have a conversation. For those of you who don't know, this is Anaya Diosa. She is an R&B artist based in New York City. Born in the Bronx and raised in Queens, Anaya naturally discovered her interest in making music through her unique upbringing, from listening to Spanish rock music with her mother to watching her dad produce a track, all the while growing up in Colombia and the United States. Inspired by artists like Jhené Aiko, SZA, and Banks, Anaya steps foot into a blended R&B pop genre established in her most recent releases, Citrusy and Levity. Anaya is well known for her captivating videos and live performances, which allows her audience to connect deeply with her music and immerse themselves in her world. Thanks for being here. Yeah.
Thanks for having
me. Anything I missed? Anything I need to add? That's it. That's you. Sweet. So in the bio, you talked about the there's 2 releases that you had recently, right? This year, Citrusy and Levity. Can you talk about maybe where those tracks came from? Those are your first 2 tracks, right?
Yeah.
Those are your, like, public releases and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Citrusy, I actually had Levity written first.
Nice.
I wrote Levity, I think it was July of 2020. But Citrusy just needed to come out. Citrusy, I had a lot of energy behind that song that needed to be released. So it's basically about trying to find the silver lining in a less than stellar relationship. And for me, I guess the silver lining was finally putting my music out. Because when I think about it, like, I had Levity for so long, I wonder how long it would have taken me to actually release it if Citrusy hadn't come first. So
interesting.
Yeah, but I was really excited about that. I think that came out in, it was 2/2/2/2/2.
Nice. Okay, there you go. So February this year. Nice.
And
the other one was in June, right?
Yeah, it was June 24th, the day after Tia's birthday. Who's off camera?
Nice. Shout out to Tia.
Shout out Tia.
I was gonna. You mentioned Tia. I'm assuming she's kind of like an integral part of your like team, the people that support you.
Yeah. Well, they go by they them pronouns.
They them.
And yeah, I mean I guess you're like stylist, unofficial stylist / I send all of my song ideas. I'm pretty sure I sent you Citrusy like as soon as I wrote it.
So do you produce your own music and write
Citrusy I produced myself.
Okay.
Levity, I worked with a producer named Gemmo.
Gemmo.
And he made the beat. And I recorded my own vocals though.
That's sick. Okay,
Thanks.
Cool. What program do you use?
Logic.
Nice.
I'm
nice.
basic.
It's great. No, Logic is great for vocals.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I love Logic.
It's nice to hear that you have like, a team or at least a few people behind you that help you a lot, because I was gonna ask about that, because the music is beautiful. I listened to it recently, and it's nice to see your first tracks and have like it's nice to see them strong, because I'll speak for myself too, because I've released music and they're good, but I always feel like the first few are like you're trying to figure out the sound, you're trying to like find the space that you kind of live in. And it feels like you have a pretty solid identity in terms of like who you are in terms of your music and what kind of energy you put out there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and your inspirations, you said in your bio, a few very talented female artists, musicians, and stuff like that. Do you have any other people that come to mind when you think about your music? Like, who do you feel like you resemble the most in terms of your energy?
I was like, I hope he doesn't ask that because I don't know what the answer is. I
Oh, that's
guess
fair. No.
I feel like, because for me, like, I don't necessarily want to resemble somebody the
No, that makes sense.
most.
Yeah, yeah.
But I listen to a lot of different artists, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they all kind of come out a little bit. Like, do you know who Toby Lou is?
I fucking love Toby
Oh,
Lou.
I love Toby. I love how he just
He's
does
so
so many
good.
dynamic things with his voice,
Yeah,
like in a
yeah,
track.
same.
It's just amazing. I also really like Umi.
Mm-hmm.
Toby's like the only male artist I listen to, so
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good one.
I can't remember who's in the bio. I like Tinashe a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Santino the Saint, he's a
Mm-hmm.
man.
There you go. That's another one. There's
He's a
another one. That's
man.
good.
But yeah, I listen
Nice.
to a
That's
lot of
cool.
music. Like
Yeah.
growing up, I listened to a lot of Paramore, and
Mm.
like
Mm-hmm.
they just made a comeback. I'm really happy about that.
Honestly, they deserve it.
I do you like Paramore, or
I
are you
love
just
Paramore.
like okay? I
Well,
don't know if you
like
were like fake flexing. For
no, no,
a
no, no.
minute.
I do love Paramore. All of the classics. I feel like I never really dove headfirst into all of their music, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, the classics. I used to play all like they used to have the Guitar Hero songs and Misery
Yes,
Business and stuff like that.
that's
It's
what
kind
you
of the
get.
classic. That's what it is.
I was at a party recently, and they were playing Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
It was such a
Oh, that's so
throwback.
fun. We used to have Rock Band, with the
We also
drums and everything,
yeah.
but we lived on the second floor, so we kind of
Aw,
they kind of like shut us down a little bit.
apartment
Kind of,
problems.
yeah, killed the vibe a little bit, but it's okay.
Are you
Um,
from New York? Like, did you live in New York?
I was born in Ohio, raised in Florida, Orlando, Florida,
Oh, I was
and
just in Florida.
oh, were you?
hmm
That's cool. It's cool.
I was
Right?
there for the hurricane.
You were there for the Why were you there
Yeah,
for the
my
hurricane? What?
I went specifically for it. No,
Nice.
my cousin had a bat mitzvah,
Okay.
so yeah, I went down there.
Sick. Did the party still happen?
The party happened like 2 days before the
Okay, I was
hurricane,
about to say.
and then my flight got canceled, so I got to stay for a couple extra. I was staying with
Nice.
family, so luckily
That's cool.
it didn't
Yeah,
cause
yeah,
any
yeah.
problems.
Yeah, that
But
would have been a sick bat mitzvah in the fucking
I'm
hurricane. That'd be dope.
saying,
Non-stop partying. I mean, hurricanes are like kind of like parties out there nowadays. It's like
yeah,
we kind of got used to it. There hasn't been. I mean, Ian was pretty insane, but
right. Not where I was, luckily, but like
where were you in?
I was in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay,
So
okay.
my
Oh
cousin
yeah, it
lives
was
in Fort
pretty chill out there.
Lauderdale, but my cousin's girlfriend's parents live in Fort Myers, and they were like, "It's not gonna come. It's not gonna hit us," and like their whole shit was there.
Wrecked
Can
your
I
shit.
can I cuss?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Their whole shit was fucked up.
Nice. Yeah, I've been here for like 5 years. Are you from New York?
hmm
Okay, cool. Where are you from?
So I was born in the Bronx,
Sick.
and then
Okay.
my dad lived in the Bronx, my mom lived in Queens, so I
Mhm.
kind of bounced back and forth.
Mhm.
But I rep both. I
Nice.
feel like I'm from both. But if I had to say one, I guess I would pick Queens.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that.
But I don't
fuck
want to
with
pick.
the vibes. It's nothing wrong with the Bronx.
You
It's
know,
just
I love the Bronx.
there's an obvious, there's
There's
an
a
obvious
difference. Yeah.
top. Yeah. Um, so talk a little bit about your upbringing. Like who is Anaya? How did you come into who you are now? And
Well, my parents met in like a performing arts thing, like a little
okay.
company or whatever. So
Oh, nice. That's cool.
they put me in a performing arts school when I was in elementary school from like pre-K to 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
So
Did you like it?
initially I loved it. I did not want to leave. But initially I was a dancer.
Mm.
And my dad's a producer. He makes like R&B. I mean, he makes all music, but
Mhm.
R&B is like his main thing.
That must be cool to have a dad producing.
It's
a
cool.
Producer father. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, it was nice because I went to SUNY Purchase for college.
Oh,
I
nice.
studied studio composition, which is like
Oh, sick.
contemporary songwriting. So in that sense, like none of it was new to me. So that was really nice. And yeah, I think between the both of them, I just knew that I wanted to make art in whatever form it comes.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I
No,
can
it does.
elaborate,
Yeah, it
though.
does. It does. Like what? So you kind of just always had music alongside
Yeah,
you,
it was just always there.
and you said you started as a dancer. Was like was there ever like anything imposed on you that was like something that you didn't really want to do, or was it always like they wanted you to do art and you just loved art, or was there ever like battles, struggles, or anything with that?
I think at least when I was younger, they just loved it, so
Yeah.
I just loved it. You know what
Yeah,
I
that
mean?
makes
Like when you
sense, yeah.
watch somebody loving what they do, it's very easy to
mhm.
want to do the same thing.
That's true.
Also,
true.
I feel like when I was growing up, there was a lot of like all the artists back then were singers and
Mhm.
dancers.
Mhm.
Kind of had to do both.
Mhm.
So I just always wanted to like be a pop star or something. I don't know.
Nice. Did you ever do like any theater or anything like that, or was it?
I did in high school. My
Nice,
last musical
sick.
was Legally Blonde.
Oh, let's go. What? I fucking love Legally Blonde.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
did musical theater. That's like my background.
Hey.
Um
Do you like Little Shop of Horrors?
I've never seen it, but I love the music, but I've never
Cut the
actually.
tapes.
Yeah, no, I don't I just never had the opportunity to see it. Like it's never been. Is
It's
it
great.
somewhere? Is it like streamed somewhere like
I'm
at the
I'm
musical?
pretty sure it's
Hmm.
streaming somewhere. I don't know, but I'll find out for you.
Okay.
You should watch it. It's
I,
great.
I know I've heard so many great things about that show. My last musical was Hairspray. I
Hairspray's
fucking
so
love
good.
Hairspray. I was you'll never guess who I was.
Who are you? I'm not gonna
Yes.
guess. I've only seen Hairspray once, so
I was Wilbur. It was
I can't
the
even remember who that
dad.
is. The dad.
The dad.
Why
The
were you the dad?
Cause it was high school and they needed old people to people
You
to
need to
act
help
old.
people.
I was yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Were
Did
you
you
like
yeah.
acting or doing all the
Yeah,
things?
yeah. I was I started by just doing like the dancing part of things. So, yeah, and
Hey.
it was like end of junior year into
Okay.
senior year. So I was very really new to it, but
Yeah.
my background is kind of like opposite of yours where my parents didn't really know about art at all. It was like very
Mm.
Christian, very like
Oh, not the
parents were
Christian.
pastors, yeah. Parents were pastors, grew up in that, and I knew about music because we I would sing in church, and my mom and dad would sing too.
Mm.
But I didn't find out about. I didn't even know what theater was until high school, until like junior year, and I
That's
was like, oh,
wild.
this is kind of cool. This is
Okay,
like a
yeah.
vibe, and then I started doing it.
Nice. My grandpa was a
Now we're
pastor,
here.
so
Really?
I feel you.
Were your parents like super religious or
My
no?
dad is, I mean, now both my parents are like hella religious,
Really?
but my dad growing up was, I would say, pretty religious, pretty
Really?
strict. Yeah.
Was when he was what kind of R&B was he producing? Was it like
It
Christian or
wasn't,
was
no,
it
it was secular. It was
no?
like,
Really?
just like, I mean, he works with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd just be interesting when like on a Saturday he'd be making like some song talking about
Yeah,
stuff.
doing the
And then
thing.
Sunday it's like, now we're in church. But yeah.
Wow, that's why, and they're still like pretty in it. How do you? What's your relationship
Are
with
you
it?
talking about like with Christianity?
Yeah, with religion in general
I don't
too.
consider myself a Christian anymore,
Mhm.
just because the more that I've learned about colonization, it just hasn't felt
Mhm.
right in my
Okay.
spirit.
Mhm.
But I do still respect and appreciate Christianity, especially what it's done for like the Black community as a
Mm.
whole. So I won't like talk bad about
Interesting.
it, but I also won't go to church. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's very fair.
I'm
I haven't
good.
been able to go in a long time. Just it feels like
Do you
it just
consider yourself a
feels
Christian?
weird. No.
Okay.
It feels yeah, no, I can't. I can't at this point. It was very traumatizing
I
growing up in it.
agree.
And
It must have been way worse for you though.
I mean it was like it wasn't even like that cuz my parents weren't insane. They're not like
Can't
they
relate.
they no, they were like super Christian, but they were also kind of lenient in terms of like
Hmm.
they didn't force me to do anything. I mean, I had to go to church for a while, but
Right.
I never felt forced. I think it's I had a turning point when I was like really really crying for it, like really asking to feel something because
Yeah.
everybody else around me and I don't know what kind of church you went to, but mine was like kind of insane, like people dancing in the spirit, speaking in
Oh,
tongues,
same.
fainting in the front of the
Not the
yeah, the
fainting.
passing out with the blanket
Oh
and
my
the
God.
so,
Tia. Tia and I used to go
so-
to church together. And it was like, I'm sure you had this. We would have like
yeah,
regular church and then also middle of the week, like prayer service
yeah.
church.
Well, I went to church I think like 3 times a week,
Yeah.
but
Same.
the Sunday was the crazy one, and then Tuesday and
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday were like
A little more chill.
yeah,
We used
just
to do
reading
homework
the
in the back.
Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that kind of like I really was begging for that for to be like taken over by something. And I just
By
remember like
something.
yeah, I remember being in church camp, thousands of young people doing the same thing, crying and yelling and screaming and
Hmm.
praising and I just remember like somebody started praying for me and I really wanted I was like, "Listen, this is it. And if I don't listen, it's over." And I
Right.
just remember convulsing, like crying, like
Oh.
heavy crying and like on the floor. Everybody thought I was like, but I was just like really sad about it.
Yeah. You were having a
So
different experience.
yeah, it was a very contradicting moment for me,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I feel like with the young generation too, it's like we we don't need it to cope anymore. I think we found other ways to cope with like existence.
Yeah.
And also learning about history, like you said, with colonization,
Yeah.
learning about history and how it was brought here and how it actually influenced us is it's important to come to terms with that kind of stuff. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm also like, it was also really hard. I'd be so into the message because similar to you, like I wanted it, you know what I mean? And I did feel connected to it, and I'd be so into it, and then they'd be like, and gay people are going to hell, and it would just snap me right out of it, you know? Because like, what?
Well,
what happened?
We're here. Yeah.
So.
I hope this isn't offensive. How old are you?
Yes.
23.
Oh. I'll be 26 in January.
26. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
How old are you?
You have a young energy at 26.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have very young energy, which is. You said January?
Mm-hmm.
What day?
Guess.
13th.
No, the 23rd though.
23rd.
1, 2, 3.
Damn, close. I'm the 16th of January.
Oh,
yeah. We're here.
Hey,
That's sick. I've met a lot of January babies in the last like year.
Really?
But before that, I'd never met anybody from January.
Yeah. Apparently, let me not repeat false information. Somebody told me that like Aquarians are the least common sign, but I'm like, does that even make sense?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't. I mean, what do you think about because you think about the time because there is some truth to like the seasonal mating,
right?
Like when somebody usually has, and then like the times that they're born are usually on the other side.
True.
Yeah. I actually don't even know what the numbers are.
I guess I don't really want to do the math to think about when my parents were mating, but.
So I know that you had. So in terms of music, your more recent lifestyle changes, the more recent big changes that you've had in your career have been that you went from being associated with the label and now you're kind of fully independent now. And I think that's an interesting conversation to have, just because most of the people I know are independent, most of the artists I know, and as much as we talk about, in culture, as much as we talk about the greatness of being independent and being able to like make it as an independent, it's much more difficult than just having like a label that supports you, you know. And not to knock people who are part of labels, because not that it's easy, it's still not easy, it's just easier than being independent. What inspired you to like make that such a massive change? I feel like that's a big thing.
Probably wanting my music out. That was the main roadblock that I was facing with who I was working with previously, because I started working with them in like 2015.
Wow.
So
that's a long time.
I was there was just a lot of creative differences, and I think also I was battling imposter syndrome. So I was kind of okay for a long time with hiding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. So I kind of made the decision during the pandemic in 2020. I kind of started realizing that like I can do this by myself. Either way, it's going to be hard, you know?
For sure.
And it was definitely tough in that position for those, I don't know, 7 years up until this year.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it was a really long time. I made so much music that, I mean, I hope one day it comes out, you know? But yeah, I gained a lot of experience from it, and like for that I'm always going to be grateful.
For sure, of course, yeah.
But I just wanted to be in control of my own shit, you know? Like I
At least
realized
when
that
you
like
want to.
regardless of who I'm working with, who's listening to my music, like I'll be 80 and still writing songs, you know what I mean? Like just because I like to do it. So once I realized that, and I realized that that's just more important than anything else, and I want to have control over what I'm saying and what I'm putting my face on, you know?
Yeah, no, of course, that makes sense. And where like, she said he wrote a lot of music.
Oh yeah.
Where is that music? Is it still?
It's on a hard drive that I don't have access to.
Okay, gotcha.
So I mean, I have some of the songs, and I might redo them at one point, but right now I'm just like so excited about the new stuff that I've made that I'm I'll get to it.
I mean, also with making music, it's really difficult to go back sometimes. Like I find it really hard, even when I just made something and I like, because like oftentimes when I make music, it's for a performance. I don't really make music if I don't have like a deadline or like a place where I'm gonna perform it, which is
Yeah.
weird for me. But when I finish performing it, I'm like, I go on and I'm like, okay, what's next? But I'm like, I
Yeah.
haven't even released the tracks
Yep.
that I performed yet. Like I wanna.
Yeah.
It's hard to like stay with stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
I really relate to that because those up until I mean, I played my last show in October of 2019,
Yeah.
so like those 4 years, I was only playing shows.
Wow,
You know what I mean? None of my music was out, so I'd play
that's
like a
wild.
40-minute set, and then at the end be like, "You can't find me anywhere, bye." You know, and that was
Oh
just really
man,
frustrating to do over and over and
I can't
over.
imagine. You were performing for how long?
Like 4 years.
Jeez,
It was a lot. It was intense, but
that is
yeah.
a lot.
So like, if I do put those songs out, like people will know them. You know what
Oh,
I
for
mean? The
sure.
people that were there, they're gonna be like, "Finally!"
Gems.
But yeah,
It's nice to see. It's nice to meet you and have a conversation with you on the other side of that. I feel like
yeah.
I feel like you speak on it with like a more freedom and like,
Hmm.
and it's really cool that you have an outlook that's like you learned a lot. You know,
Yeah.
you've seen a lot, and it's really great to see you come out the other side and not hold like, well, I don't know if you hold any, but like not
Like
show
resentment.
resentment for
Yeah.
that period of time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely really tough, and it made
Yeah, for sure.
me kind of like not believe in myself in a sense
Yeah.
because I felt like the people around me weren't believing in me
Mhm.
enough
Mhm.
to put out my music.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, the reason that I allowed that to happen was because I didn't fully believe in myself. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
can't blame
yeah.
anybody else. So even though it was tough and it's been tough to start over, I feel like that kind of needed to happen in the way
Yeah,
that it
for
happened in
sure.
order for me to
Mhm.
A, find my sound,
Yeah.
and B, just be more authentic and be myself.
That's
So
beautiful. That's really
thank
great.
you.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Um, where do you feel like what's your next? You know what I'm saying? What do you feel like is next for you? What do you want to do? Are you working on something big or?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say I'm dropping a project because that's not really like an official thing, but over the course of
Mm.
the last couple of years, a project has naturally started to form.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm
Love it
thinking,
when that happens.
I love when that happens too. So like my original plan was to just drop a couple singles,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I might do some kind of like waterfall release type of situation
Nice.
where like eventually they go on a project maybe
Mhm.
next year.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there's gonna be new music, new
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Who?
start performing again in January, which I'm
Good.
so
Nice.
excited about.
Okay. Where do
So
you have a place where you're performing first,
not
or is it
yet.
like you're looking for a place to perform?
Yeah, the team
Nice.
that I'm working with now, it's mostly just friends,
Nice.
which I like
Best way to
way
do it.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
way better. And we're trying to schedule something. What I would like to do is have a birthday
Mm.
performance type of
Mm.
situation.
Yeah.
Like the last weekend of January would be cool. Just
Okay.
because I haven't seen so many faces in so long, and it would be cool to
For
do
sure.
like a double bash
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
situation.
That sounds sick.
And like, want to collaborate with more artists.
For sure.
I just had my first feature like 2 months ago. That
Did
was
you? What was
fun.
it on?
This artist named Westwill.
Okay, sick.
He's I forget what city he's out of, might be, but it's a song called Summer Rain,
Okay, cool.
and I really like that song. You should
Yeah.
check it out.
Shout out to Westwell.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. What's your? I know this. I know there's a good way to ask this question, but I haven't found it exactly yet.
Ask the bad way. It's okay.
Because it's such an annoying question that I would, if I got it, I would be annoyed by it. But try your best with it.
Okay.
What is your process when you're creating music? The reason why I say it's annoying is because there's so many ways to make music. But like
Yeah,
sometimes people have like
a
some
set
people do
way.
have like a really set way in terms of their
I don't.
process.
Yeah, I don't really have a set way.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess lately it's been. No, that's a lie too. Let me think about this. I guess when I was in like songwriting school in
Mm.
college, I
Mm.
was playing the guitar way more.
Nice.
Just because I was learning about chords and like music theory, so it was just more fun to implement those
For
things.
sure.
But now that I can work with other people and I have the freedom to do that fully,
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying like writing to other people's beats.
Mm.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
But then there's also songs like Citrusy where I'm like just feeling so emotional that I don't want to wait for somebody else's beat, or maybe
For
like
sure.
I feel I can put the emotion into it myself, if
Yeah,
that
you could
makes
do it
sense,
on your
like
own.
sonically.
Yeah, for
So
sure, for sure.
it really depends, but I found that like lyrically and melodically, the best
Hmm.
way is to just like before I even, because I'm sure this happens to you too. If I listen to a beat too many times, like the ideas will leave or something.
Yeah, you just get like not sick of it,
No,
but
I get sick of it.
yeah,
I'm like, I don't
it
want to hear
just
this
it becomes
anymore.
like kind of like what's the best way to say it? It's like if you like, if you have a sculpture and you keep, you know, hitting in
Mm-hmm.
all the areas, and you're like, I don't like that, you keep hitting, and you keep going until
Yeah.
it's like a pole, and
Nothing.
you're like,
Yeah.
I can't do
Exactly.
anything now, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely,
Yeah.
that was the situation. So I think the best thing for me to do lately,
Hmm.
for now, like
Hmm.
my answer for now in this current day and time, is to listen to a beat maybe once and
Hmm.
just throw it in Logic and immediately just start like recording whatever ideas come
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
because usually those first ideas are like the
Hmm.
most, what's the word? They just resonate with the
Yeah.
track,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. The more instinctual,
Yeah, that's a better word.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Do you do you have, or I guess, is there any are there any singles coming up next that you can speak on, or is there anything that you're getting ready to do?
I
Because I feel like
yeah.
you're pretty active on socials,
Hmm.
so I feel like I saw something where I was like, working on something.
Yeah, I had just posted a snippet. So when Citrusy came out, Tia and I did a live stream
Nice.
just like to celebrate the fact
Yeah.
that I can put music out now. And in that I kind of like played my entire everything that I've worked on.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, I had posted a little clip of this song called Manzanilla. It's gonna be the next one that comes out.
Nice.
I'm really excited about it. Manzanilla means chamomile. It's like the
Ooh.
chamomile plant.
Oh. What
Um,
language?
Spanish.
Spanish. Okay, cool. Wait, what's your
My dad's
nationality
black.
actually?
My mom is Colombian. Like
Oh,
a
oh yeah,
she's like a
yeah, yeah,
mestizo,
okay, okay,
mixed
cool. Oh,
Colombian.
that's really cool. Okay.
Um, but yeah, so growing up, my mom would always give me manzanilla tea when my
Mm-hmm.
stomach was hurting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that song is basically about kind of like healing through. I don't want to say it's the part two of Citrusy because it's not, but it's kind of like the preface to Citrusy in a way.
Mm.
Because it came
Mm.
first, and it's more talking about the relationship. I feel like Citrusy is more about like acceptance
Yeah.
and moving on and like trying to make the best of the relationship, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Manzanilla, I'm like, I'm still in it.
Yeah.
And it's about like making the tea to try to
Mm.
like settle yourself, you
Yeah.
know.
That's
So I'm really
beautiful.
excited about that. We've been planning a music video for it since October of 2020.
Wow.
um the videographer from Citrusy, his name is Julian. We're working on that together. He's also Colombian, so it just works
Nice.
out great.
No, that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love when you can talk about a track and it's something that's genuinely related to you
Yeah.
and in the way that you are and who you are.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to hear that you're doing something like that.
Thank you.
That's sick. One of the last questions I'm gonna ask, and you can be as honest as you want about
Okay.
this question. How have you been feeling as of late?
Like in general?
Yeah, sure. In
Oh
general,
no.
more if you want to be specific, it's as
Um,
honest as you want to be. You don't have to,
yeah, let me think
divulge too
about that
much.
one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I guess I've been feeling hmm. I mean, it's hard not to take on everything that's going
Mm.
on around us.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to feel discouraged at times,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I still keep showing up. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling triumphant.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
I'm feeling like a fighter. I guess
Yeah.
that's how I'm feeling.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great adjective. That's great.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, to end off the show,
Hmm.
you already gave us kind of a lot of snippets in terms of like what's next for you. What I would ask is that if you don't mind, for the lovely audience out there, just giving them any words of wisdom that you might have or anything that you want to impart in terms of things that you've learned. I like to make it a point in this show that you always like take something away that you didn't know before from someone else's experience,
Right.
or hearing something that is relatable but just in a different lens is very
Yeah.
important. So if you have anything that's similar to that, and just to end us off, if you don't mind.
Cool. Okay, I don't want to be corny, but I guess I would say like if it doesn't feel right,
Mm-hmm.
it's not right.
Yeah.
I think in the past couple of years, in relationships, family relationships, like romantic ones, friendships,
Mm-hmm.
musical relationships, stuff with the old label that I was working with, like certain things just kind of didn't feel completely right.
Yeah.
And they all turned out to be not right for me. So I think that kind of goes for everybody. Like your intuition is usually not wrong. There's a reason we have it, and it's important to listen to how you feel.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show,
Thank you for
Anaya.
having me.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.